Good evening, guys. I hope everyone is doing well. All right. So, welcome back to our 30 days program from Python to AI. And let us quickly recap what we have covered yesterday. Then we'll start our concepts for the day. All right. So, yesterday we started with dictionaries. We understood dict data type, right? So, dict category data type is nothing but it contains key value pairs that are colon separated. All the key values will be colon separated, whereas key value pairs will be comma separated. Okay, so and the elements of dictionary will be kept inside curly braces. They should be part of flower braces or curly braces, right? And how many key value pairs can you have? You can have n number of key value pairs, n number. Okay. Now the question is, are keys mutable, friends? In dictionary, are keys mutable? Excuse me. No, keys are immutable. What about values? Are values immutable? Values are mutable. You know, as part of interviews, generally they check your concepts with respect to the basics, right? So you can expect a question from data types, Python data types, very important. Okay, so keys are immutable and values are mutable, guys, and we can have n number of key value pairs. All the key value pairs will be comma separated, whereas key and value will be colon separated, and the elements of a dictionary will be present inside a flower braces or curly brace, and the elements of a dictionary are unordered because keys are unindexed. We can access the values via keys. Okay, so only values are indexed, but with the help of keys. There is no, again, the default nature in Python for dictionaries. Right, so we have understood the hands-on part as well. Then we started with control statements, are nothing but conditional statements. So these conditional statements or control statements are used to do a specific task. Okay, so depending upon a specific condition, if the condition holds true, then it automatically enters into the block and executes the lines of code present in the block. And the control statements are of four types. They are if statement, if else, if elif else, and finally nested. If you just have only one condition, then we can go with if condition, if conditional statement. So what is the syntax? The syntax is if, okay, then specify the condition, colon. This colon is actually representing the rules of indentation. So by default, four spaces will be left, and we can specify our lines of code. Okay, so we can keep our lines of code. By default, it is four pages. This is nothing but indentation, and you may not stick to four. You can also make it as three, two, or it's up to you. But make sure all the lines of code follows the same number of spaces. Only then PVM understands that these lines of code belongs to if block. Right. In the same way, We also have if else conditional statement where if the condition in if block is not true, if it is false, then it ignores the if statement or if block and jumps to else block and executes else block statements. Okay, what if you have more than say two conditions? Then we can go with if elif conditional statements, and you can keep multiple elif statements. So it's up to you depending upon the requirement. We can come up with if elif statement conditions. And finally, we had nested conditional statement. It's nothing but if statement inside an if statement, right? Then you can also have an if else block or if else conditional statement inside an if conditional statement. So all these will be part of nested conditional statements, right? So like how we have understood the concept of nested loop, nested list, nested dictionary, nested tuples. In the same way, we have nested conditional statements, nested control statements. Right. I asked you guys to work on hands-on. I hope it is done. And I'm requesting everyone to share across multiple, channels wherever there is a source or if these sessions are really, they are really good. Share among your friends. Ask them to join. Ask them to learn. Do hands-on because everywhere Python is being used, not only for one purpose, for each and every task that we are doing in real world. Okay, since I'm working in the real world, for each and every task Python is being used. So we had an opportunity of learning Python for free, and I hope everyone is going to use it in a efficient manner. All right, so let us you know start for the day. Today we are going to learn two important topics. One is loops and followed by functions. Okay, loops and functions. So first we'll understand what is a loop, then what are the different types of loops we have in Python, and we'll also understand different, we'll come up with multiple examples for each and every type of loop. Okay, and for these loops, we have some kind of control statements that actually control a loop. Okay, we are going to look after the control loops, control statements present in loops topic, and post completing the loops, we'll jump into functions. What is a function? What are the different types of functions we have in Python? Then what are the different types of parameters or arguments present in the Python? So in this way, we'll try to learn new topics, and these are very 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 important. Right. Let's get started this. So the next topic is loops. So first of all, what is a loop? I hope we have discussed this topic. Might be in the range data type. Range, it's nothing but sequence category data type. Under sequence category data type, we understood range, range data type. Okay, range is an immutable data type, and in order to look after the values that are present in a range object, we have to use a loop, right? So there we have understood, we have just got introduction to loop, but today we'll be learning to the bottom, to the depth of the loops topic, right? So what is loops, or what are loops in Python? Loops are nothing but, you know they are used to perform a specific task. If I have a task, okay, for example, I want to say I want to draw a rectangle. Okay, I want to draw a rectangle, and this I want to draw 100 rectangles. The same, one rectangle. I want to draw 100 rectangles. So this is my task. My task is very clear, right? I want to draw 100 rectangles on the same rectangle. So instead of wasting our time by just keeping it on the rectangle for 100 times, if you define a loop, this loop will actually do the same. Okay, this loop will complete your task. So that is the actual purpose of a loop. Loops in Python are used to perform a specific task. Okay, and this runs for n number of times until the condition is met. You know, it keeps on executing. What are the different types of loops that we have in Python is we have for loop and we also have while loop. Okay, in general, for loops are nothing but finite loops and while loops are infinite loops. So, in order to execute a task for infinite times, we generally go with while loop, and for finite number of times, we go with for loop. Right. So let us understand the syntax of both the loops. First, we'll start with the important for loop. Then we'll go with while loop. For loop. Again, for loop is used to, it's part of loop, right? So it is used to iterate over a iterable, might be list, tuple, say string, set, whatever it might be, and it executes the block of code for each and every item present in the iterable. Okay, so the syntax for loop is for item in sequence, then colon. For and in are nothing but keywords. Okay, for and in are nothing but keywords that are in Python, and item is generally representing a variable. Okay, and the sequence is it's nothing but the iterable. Okay, so then comes the indentation again. Okay, after leaving by default four spaces, we can keep our block of code here. Okay, so this becomes the syntax for loop. Right, so it's very clear, right? Let us take a small example, then we'll be very clear with for loop concept. See, what do we have in line number 262? Can you guys please use the chart and tell me what is this object called? What type of object it is? It's a list. So fruits is the variable name which is a list of strings. Right. What is the size of list? What is the size of the list? It is three. Apple, banana, and cherry. Okay. My task is to print each and every string present in the list. Okay, so instead of printing using index, I can also do it using index, right? It's nothing but print of fruits of 0, then print of fruits of 1, print of fruits of 2. So this also gives or completes my task. But instead of keeping or say, instead of keeping my code very lengthy, I just use loops. Okay, so the syntax is for fruit in fruits. What is this fruit? This fruit is representing a variable. It can be anything, guys. For fruit in fruits, what is this fruits representing? This fruits is actually representing the list, the sequence. Okay, then next to the line, we have to follow the indentation and start keeping our block of code. What I want to do, I want to just print each and every fruit. Okay, so how this for loop actually executes, or what will be the output for this for loop? What will be the output for this for loop? Initially, fruit takes apple, because the variable, the item takes the first element in the sequence. In the sequence, the first element is apple. So fruit holds apple, and the block of code, it says print fruit, so it prints apple. Then will it stop? No. I have more items in the sequence. So again it goes back to the sequence, and this time fruit takes banana and it prints banana. Then will it stop? No. Then it takes cherry. Fruit takes cherry and it prints cherry. Will it stop? Yes. Why? It has reached to the end of the sequence. There is no other item or element in the sequence. Okay, so it stops here. So the output will be apple, banana, cherry. Am I right? Am I right, guys? Yes. So let me execute this. So it has to print all the three to the console: apple, banana, and cherry. Good, good, good going. Can I get the output for the next for loop? So instead of a list, what are we taking in line number 266? What it is? It's a, what kind of data it is? Data type. It is a str data type, string, str, Python. Okay, so I want to get each and every character from the str data type. So for char in word, print char. So char takes initially p, then okay, p gets printed. Then next to p we have y, then t, then h, then o, and finally n. Okay, so can someone tell me why p, in the next line we get y, in the next line we get uh, h, then in the next line we are getting o, then n. What might be the reason why it is not on the same line? Why p y t h o n is not on the same line, but instead of that we have it in 6 lines? Index, okay, because of character index. Hmm. What might be the reason, guys? Can this is something important. Why is the output in this fashion? Why not? No, every time it is considered as a new item in every iteration. Yeah, it's a new item, but my question is why not in this way? Can someone tell me? Okay, I'll talk about this later, but this is something that we have to observe carefully. Why did we get output or Python vertically? Why not Python horizontally? Because in the first iteration, you know, char takes p and print char will return as p. Then in the second iteration, char takes y, so why it is printing in the new line? Why not in the same line? Is the question. Okay, so this we'll discuss Not now, might be in the coming examples, because I had an example for that as well. But I just want you guys to think and answer. Right. What are we doing in the next for loop? Tell me the output for the next for loop. For I in range of 1 comma 11 colon print I. Print I. So this will actually print numbers ranging from 1 to 10 vertically. Right. Okay. So good responses. Instead of just telling 1 to 10, your answer is very clear. Okay. So you just kept it as 1 to 10 vertically. Okay, good. But again, the question is why 1 to 10 vertically? Why not 1 to 10 horizontally? Think. Okay. Right. Now, let me take a list of integers ranging from 1 to 5. Okay, so the variable name is numbers, and we had the values as 1 to 5, and the type is list where the size is 5. So what are we doing in this for loop? We are taking each and every integer from the numbers list, and these numbers that we take from the list will be what kind of operator it is in line number 275. What kind of operator it is? Exponential power. That's what I am telling you. Basics are very important, guys. You should not, no, by chance also you should not forget them. Memorize. Okay. So double asterisk mark represents exponential power. So take each and every number from the numbers list and get the square. 1 raised to the power 2, it is 1. 2 raised to the power 2, it is 4. 3 raised to the power 2, it is 9. 4 raised to the power 2, it is 16. 5 raised to the power 2, it is 25. So, are we just taking only the square? No, we are also printing a string. Okay, so there is a string over here. What is this? It is nothing but F strings. The concept of string formatting is being considered. See how many different concepts we are using in this line. We are using the concept of operators. Yes. Okay. Then in the next line, we are using string formatting. Right. So will it be 2 to 25? No, no, no. It will be 1. 1 square is 1, not 2. Okay, so let me print this. Let me execute. It should be 1 till 25. Square of 1 is 1, square of 2 is 4, square of 3 is 9. It will be like this. This is nothing but F strings. String formatting, guys. Okay, right. Good, good. Now, let me take one more list of elements 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, so the size is 4. And what does my for loop say? Take each and every integer number from the numbers list, and I have a, what is this? If else block, if else conditional statement. So is that possible, Akhil? Yes. You can add anything inside your block of code, lines of code. Okay, but make sure it follows the indentation. Majority of the errors that you see when typing the code is indentation errors, right? So if block says if the number percentage, nothing but modulus, if the number divided by 2, okay, and if the remainder is 0, if it is equals to 0, then print num is even, else print num is odd. So tell me what will be the output for this for loop. For which numbers I'll get even and for which numbers I'll get odd. I'll get 10 and 20 for 10 and 20 numbers as even and 15 and 20 I'll get odd 25. Simple. Okay, so what are we doing? We are just following the syntax for item in sequence colon, then indentation. Again, this starts a if else conditional statement. What is the syntax for if else conditional statement? If followed by condition colon, then indentation. Okay, then lines of code or if block statements we have to keep under the if block if statement. Okay, then comes else block, same. Right, now comes, you know, a nested list. 1 2 3 4 5 6. We had a nested list of size 3 and there are three nested lists present in the nested list variable. And what am I doing inside it? I had a for loop. Okay, so there are two for loops. So what does that this mean? This is nothing but nested loops concept. Loop inside a loop. Loop inside again we have a loop. Okay, so what does the first loop tells? It says for sublist in nested list. That means take each list from the nested list. How many lists we have? Three. What are the indexes for the three lists? 0, 1, 2. So let me take the 0th list 1 comma 2. Okay, then we have one more for loop inside the main for loop, and this for loop says for item in sublist. That means item will take initially 1 because this is at 0th position, 2 is at position 1, index 1. Okay, so initially item will take element 1, and what does it says? Print item and is equals to there is nothing. So what does the output will be for this nested for loop? Can I get the responses? Use chat and tell me what will be the output. 1 2 3 4 5 6 horizontally because of end parameter. Good. 1 2 3 4 5 6 vertically. No. 1 no. The answer is 1 2 3 4 5 6 horizontally, not vertically. Why? What is the main reason for that, Akhil? Simple, guys. Did I use end parameter or end argument in the previous lines of code for print function? In any print function did we use? No. For this, you know, for this nested loops concept, we have come up with end parameter which is present inside print statement. Okay, for better understanding, let me execute first of all. How it is 1 2 3 4 5 6 horizontally? Because by default in print function there is a parameter called end. Okay, and this end takes or end holds backslash n as its value by default. So what does backslash n represents? It's a new line character. So if you don't change it, by default it will take backslash n, and each and every time it is going to print, it prints in the next line. That is what has been done in the previous cases. Whereas in this case, I have changed the backslash n to empty space. So that means after each and every item that is getting printed, it should print empty space. See, is it clear? Come on, guys, is it clear? So that I'll proceed to the next topic. Yes. So make sure, from here onwards, I request all of you to go and read the documentations. Is that necessary to read the documentations of the functions? Yes. I'll tell you what you have to do. So we'll follow just blindly, and we'll go to the documentations of the functions. See, I just removed the space, that we had earlier. Now, if you see, the output has been changed. I mean, with respect to the output, the numbers are same, but do we find the same spaces? No. There are no spaces between the numbers. Why? Because I just removed the space that is actually present so far. Right. So in this way, we can play with the values that we are going to assign for the parameters. This is a new topic that we'll be discussing in the next functions. Okay. Right. So let us jump into the next topic, that is while loops. So far, for loop is very easy, right? So in the same way, while loop is also easy, but the syntax will change. So in general, while loops are used for infinite iterations, and a while loop executes a block of code as long as the condition is met. Right here, there is no kind of condition, but in while loop, you will have the syntax as while condition, then colon, then indentation followed by code block. So this will be the syntax for while loop. Should I repeat one more time? Okay, just give me a minute. See, I'll explain it. See, I have a nested list. Okay, so what is the meaning of nested list? Is list inside a list. Okay, so is it a nested list? Yes. How can you tell it is a nested list? Nested list means list inside, again there is a list inside which we have three lists. So this is a nested list. Okay, so my task is to print each and every element of the nested list. Okay, not the list. If I want to print only the elements of list, that is a different task, but my actual task is to print each and every element of the nested list. For that, I am using nested loops concept. Two for loops. For loop 1, for loop 2. First for loop will get you the list which is present inside the main list. So this will return as 1 comma 2, then 3 comma 4, and 5 comma 6. For getting these values, first for loop is designed. So let us start from the beginning. For sublist in nested list, that is nothing but the list. Okay, so this is nothing but the variable. So it takes in the first iteration, it takes the first nested list. What is the first nested list that we have? 1 comma 2. Then we have one more for loop which tells for item in the sublist. That means for item in this list. So what is the first item that we have? It's nothing but 1. Okay, what it is saying? It is saying that print item. So that means print 1. 1 has been printed. Okay, done. Then end is equals to space. You have to give space after 1. Done. Okay, so is the first iteration of loop 2 is done? No. I have one more element present in the sublist. So this time item takes 2. One is done, it takes 2 now. Then it tells that print item. Print item. Item is nothing but 2. 2 is printed. Then end with space. In this way, for the first nested list we got 1 comma 2, I mean 1 space 2 space. In the same way, for the next nested list we'll get 3 space 4 space. For the third nested list we'll get 5 space 6 space. So this is how we get this output. Is it clear now? Is it okay? Come on guys, respond. Yes. Okay, so I hope it's clear, right? Now let us jump into while loops. The only thing is you have to practice this. When you do multiple examples on the list, when you do multiple topics on the loops, you'll become a professional. This is not rocket science. To be frank, when you do many examples on it, you'll rock. You'll rock the show. So the only success mantra is practice, hands on. Right. The next loops that we have are while loop. So while loop, the syntax is while followed by the condition, then colon, then the block of code that we have to execute. Okay. So let me take a small example. We'll understand how while loops work. Then we'll go and understand the control statements present in Python. Right. Now let us understand a while loop. I am defining a variable that is count is equals to 1. Okay, so this is just an integer. The value is an integer 1 and I am storing in a variable count. Now I am coming up with a while loop. What does the syntax say? While keyword followed by condition. What is the condition that we have here? Count less than or equals to 5. If count is less than or equals to 5, if this is true, then start going inside the loop. 1 less than or equals to 5. Is it true? Yes. Then what I have to do? I have to print that count, nothing but 1. Print 1. So 1 will be printed. Then what is the next line of code that we have in the loop? It is count plus is equals to 1. What does this mean? What does this mean? This means count is equals to count plus 1. Shortcut. We discussed, right? So 1 gets incremented by 1 and this time count will be 2. Now again it checks for the condition. 2 less than or equals to 5. Again it is true. So print 2. So 2 will be printed. Again 2 gets incremented. Yes. So in this way, it continues until and unless this condition is not met. So what will be the output, guys? Tell me what will be the output. For this while loop, what will be the output? One, two, three, four, five. Not horizontally, but it will be vertically. The reason is you did not mention any, did not specifically change the value for end that is present inside the print function. By default, it takes the backslash n. So whenever it is printing, it prints in the new line, new line, new line. I hope you got it right. Now let us go with the next while loop. Num is equals to 10. Okay, so what will be the output for the next while loop? While num greater than 0, print, there is an f string, count down colon the number, the num, then num minus is equals to 2. So that means uh, subtract 2 from the number. So in this way, what will be the output when we execute the while loop? I want you guys to respond. 10, then 8, then 6, 4, 2. Will 0 be returned? No, 0 will not be returned. Okay, 0, at 2 stage, at the final stage, 2 minus 2 will be 0, number will be updated to 0, where 0 is greater than 0, where the condition is not met, so the loop stops. Okay, so respond. Only the even numbers from 10 to 2 will be printed. Good. Good response, guys. So the next while loop. N is equals to 1. And we are going to get the factors of 7 from 1 till 100. So this is the code. See, what will be the output? Understand the logic and tell me the output. N less than 100, 1 less than 100, yes, true. Then it starts going inside the while loop, and we have a if statement, and the if statement says 1 percentage 7 is equals to 0. That means when you divide the n with 7, if the remainder is 0, only then it goes inside the if statement and prints that n is divisible by 7. Okay, if the condition is not met, it executes the rest of the lines present in the loop, that is nothing but n should be incremented with 1. This is nothing but n is equals to n plus 1. So in this fashion, if you try to check, you'll get numbers from, what will be the output for this while loop? What will be the output, guys? The output will be 7, then 14, 21, 28, so on till 98. Why only these numbers, Akhil? Simple. See, is when the n is 1, will this condition get satisfied? No, right? So in the same way, till 6 this condition will not be satisfied. Whereas when the n is 7, the condition will be satisfied and it prints 7 is divisible by 7 in a line. Okay, and the increment happens. Yes, good. 7 till 98 should be the output. So this is nothing but, we are getting the factors of 7 from 1 till 100. I hope it's clear. Okay, good, good. Few people are, they're very active, and even the results are very good. Yes. So the next topic that we have in the loops topic is control statements. So the purpose of the control statements is used to control the loop. Okay, so depending on the control statement that we are going to use, they act accordingly. There are three types of control statements. I mean, for controlling the loop in Python, they are break, continue, and pass. So let us understand the first control statement, break. What does break do? Break actually breaks the loop permanently if the condition is met. Okay, if the condition is met, break control statement will break the loop. It means nothing but it stops the loop there itself. Right. Let us go and understand an example. I'm having a for loop here, and the syntax is for variable, nothing but for item in sequence. Okay, so the sequence is nothing but range of 10, where I'll have the numbers from 0 to 9. So I takes every number present in this object 0 to 9 in each and every iteration. Right. So when when it goes inside the for loop, I have if statement. Okay, so this if statement tells if I is equals to 5, nothing but if the number is 5, then break. Okay, if this condition is not met, you can ignore this and go to the next line, that is print I. So this will be like this object holds 0, 1, 2, so on 9. Okay, so for the first time I take 0. Is 0 5? Is 0 equals to 5? No, right? This is false. So it does not enter the if statement. It prints 0. 0 will be printed. Then I takes 1. Again the condition is not met. Print I 1. Then 2, 3, 4. Then there is a question. Now the number is 5. 5 is equals to 5. Okay. If the condition is met, it goes inside the if block. It says break. That means it stops or it terminates the loop here. So the output will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Good guys. If you know the output, I need all of you to comment in the chat. Everyone has to comment. Okay. Now, the next control statement that we have in Python is continue. So break is actually stopping the loop. It is breaking the loop permanently. Then what does continue does? Continue will actually skip that iteration only for that. For example, if the condition is met, only then it skips the current iteration and just moves on to the next iteration. Akhil, can you take an example and explain in clear? Yes. Very simple. I'll take the same example and I'll reduce the range. This is nothing but 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I takes 0 first of all in the first iteration. What is the if block tells? If statement. In the if statement, the condition says if I is equals to 2, is 0 equals to 2? No, the condition is not met. So it does not enter this loop. It does not enter this block. It goes and prints I, nothing but 0. Then I takes 1. Okay, I is no more 0. I takes 1. 1 equals to 2. Again, the condition is not met. Print I. Then I takes 2. 2 is equals to 2. The condition is met. So it goes inside the block and it has continue. It means it skips the current iteration. It does not print 2. It skips that iteration and moves on to the next iteration. So I becomes 3. 3 is equal to 2. The condition is not met. It prints I. In the same way, I takes 4, the last element. So condition is not met in the if block and it prints I. 0, 1, 3, 4 will be our output. 5 will not be printed. How come 5 will be printed? Range of 5, right? A range object with 5, will it have 5? No, right? Hmm. Pay attention, guys. Okay. Now, I hope continue is also clear. Break statement permanently breaks the loop. Continue statement skips that current iteration and moves to the next iteration. Then the last and simplest control statement is pass. A pass statement does nothing and allows to execute the loop. It does nothing. Okay, so what is the use of having it? In some loops, if you don't want to print anything, but if you want to generate a loop, if you want to define a loop, then go and just use pass because it does nothing. In this case also, what will be the output? Since pass does nothing, only for this iteration, the condition is met, it goes inside and it prints I. Okay, I'm taking the same example, but the output will differ. What will be the output? It will be from 0 till 4. It is not going to skip 2. Why? Because I don't have continue here. It is pass. Pass does nothing. So it does nothing. It goes to the next line number 340 and prints I nothing but 2. And you see, put 2 in the out console. Is it clear? Right. Now, can someone tell me what will be the output for this while loop? While true, the condition itself is telling true, it goes inside the while loop, okay, and it prints this is an infinite loop, and since I'm using break, it breaks. Okay, the condition is also true, right? So it breaks. What if I don't use break? I'll show you the both cases. So here I'm getting only this is an infinite loop for one time. Now let me do one thing. Let me add hash. What is the use of hash? Hashtag in Python script. Hashtag is used for commenting. If you want to comment single lines, then we go and use hashtag special character in Python script. Yes. What if I want to do multiple lines comment? Which special character should be used for multi-line commenting? For single line, it is hashtag. For multiple line, good. It it is triple single or triple double quotes. Right. For an example, see, triple single is actually changing the meaning. This is a multi-line comment. If I want to comment all these lines, you see, all these lines is a multi-line comment. But just to make a note of it. Right. So let me keep this break statement in comment and execute this. So what will be the output? Tell me what will be the output? What will be the output if I execute this? The loop runs for infinite times and it keeps on printing. See, see how many times it is printing me. It keeps on printing. In order to stop this, we have used break. Okay, right. Let us understand the last example as part of loops. Then we'll go and discuss the next topic. See, if you want to comment multiple lines, then we have to go and use triple single or triple double quotes. See, instead of commenting, you can either do it with hashtag, but for every line, instead of keeping hashtag in front of the line, it's better if you say if you want to comment 1,000 lines, will you just go and keep a hashtag in front of each and every line? No, right? It is waste of our time. So we'll just identify where is the start, where is the stop. I mean, from which line to which line we have to comment. We'll just go to the starting position of the line. We'll use triple single quotations or triple double quotations. And the same way at the start stop point also we'll keep triple single or triple double. Done. Okay. Yes, yes, this will be provided. No worries. We'll be providing to you in probably in a week. Okay, probably in the next week we'll be starting the next topics as well. So for time being, you know, I want you guys to focus. Yes. So the last example, num is equal to 1, and here is the while loop coming into the picture. So what will be the output? While num is greater less than or equals to 20, if num percentage 7 is equals to 0, print stopped at num, then break. Print num if the condition is not met, then increment num with 1. So this is the code that we have. Tell me what will be the output. Will it be 714 or will it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? What will be the output? The output will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then stopped at 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, stopped at 7 will be the output. Yes, good. Simple guys. See, if the condition is met, it goes inside the while loop, and if the condition is met for if block, only then it goes inside the if statement. But if the condition is not met, it just prints the number. For 1 to 6, it prints as it is the numbers, okay, with the increment. Whereas for 7, the condition is met in the if statement, it prints stopped at num, where num is nothing but 7, and we have break, so it breaks. Okay, should I repeat it again? Got it. See, first the condition says n is equals to 1. Okay, if n less than or equals to 20, this is the condition for while loop. If this satisfies, it goes inside the loop, right? So 1 less than or equals to 20, the condition is met. Now, what is the first line of code that we have? We have a if statement. In an if statement, again, we'll have a condition, right? So if this condition satisfies, only then it goes inside this block. If the condition is not satisfied, why does it enter the block? Right? It skips these two lines and it comes to line number 351. Right? So we have to check this condition properly. So for 1 to 6, this condition will not be met. So it prints all the numbers one by one with increment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After the number got printed with 6, the number should be incremented with 1. So 6 plus 1 is nothing but 7. 7%, 7 less than or equal to 20. Yes, true. So it goes again into the loop. 7 percentage 7 is equals to 0. Is this true or false? This is true. because when you divide 7 by 7, okay, the remainder that you get is 0. Why? The quotient is 1. 7 ones are 7. The quotient is 1 and the remainder is 0. This is satisfied. If the condition is true, it enters into the if block and prints stopped at 7. Why? Because next to that statement we have break statement. So it breaks the loop. Num plus is equals to which is raising error. It will not raise any error, right? So I hope it's clear, guys. So this marks the end of loops. Okay, so it's a small topic, but when you practice more, you get more hands-on experience with respect to loops. Now let's get started with the functions. The next topic, this is important because from day one or day two we are using functions. Python supports functional programming. So what is a function? Function is nothing but it's a block of code. It's a lines of code which can be used in the script in multiple places. Okay, we can use the same block of code at multiple places in the source script. So, what is the syntax? The syntax is def, def keyword followed by function name. Then, in the parenthesis, we have to give the parameters followed by colon, then the function body. And if you want to return anything, you can also use return keyword to return the value. And this is not mandatory, this is optional. This is not mandatory every time. Until unless if you want to return, you can just keep it as part of your function and return the value. So this is the syntax for function. A function is nothing but it's a block of code or lines of code. Okay, when you use this function in the next lines of code, the lines of code gets executed and it returns the output. Why should we work on functions? Because they help in improving the readability. They also keep the code organized manner. In an organized manner, they keep the code. So for an example, here we have a small function. Wherever you see the def, it's a function. We are defining a function and the syntax is like def followed by the function name. The function name is greet. Okay, it is greet. Greet, then the parameters that we have is name and the same concept indentation. So if it is following indentation, that means that particular line is part of the function. So this line number 19 is part of function greet. On what basis can we tell? It is just following the rules of indentation. So line number 19 is part of greet function. What it have to return? It have to return hello name. Whatever the name that you give, it will use the concept of string formatting and it will greet the people. Okay, so let us work on it. Let me define it. We have defined the function. Now let us use the function. Let us call the function. This is defining. And this part when you are is nothing but it is called as you are calling the function. Okay. So greet of kalam. What am I passing? I am passing kalam. So this will print me hello kalam. See. Is it clear? Okay, so hello column will be given as output. In the same way, we have one more function, small function, which is used to return the square of the number. For that, I am following the syntax def, then the function name is square, and the parameter that I am passing is num. What is this parameter? Also, will understand this. Okay, num, return num into num. Nothing but n into n will be n square. So I'm defining a function for, for returning the square of a number. Define. Now let me call it. What is the value that you are passing in the place of num? It is 4. So when you call, you actually pass the original values for your parameters. Okay, what will be the output, guys? What will be the output? 4 into 4, it will be 16. Yes. What if I want cube? Say if I want to get the cube of the number. Simple. In line number 24, I'll add one more num. So n into n, which is n cube. Nothing but the cube of a number. Okay. Now we know area of a rectangle, right? So let me define a function for getting the area of a rectangle. Okay, so def followed by the function name is area underscore of underscore rectangle, and how many parameters I am passing? I am passing two parameters. One is length and the next one is width. Okay, so when a user provides the values for length and width, it will multiply length and width and returns the output. So let me define the function. Done. Let me execute. Let me call it. So what are the values I am passing? To length I am passing 5. To width I am passing 10. Done. So the output will be 5 times are 50. Good. Is it clear? Function is nothing but a block of code. See, this is my block of code, lines of code. But in order to define a function, we should have, there is a syntax, there are some rules. And now let us discuss types of functions. Functions are of especially two types in Python. Okay, the first type is called as user defined functions. Excuse me. The first type is user defined functions, or also called as custom defined functions. The name itself is says it's telling clearly that a user will define the function. Okay, or a user will customize the code as per his or her requirements. So these type of functions are called custom defined or user defined functions. So this is type 1. Then the second type we have are inbuilt functions. That means these functions are already present inside Python. They are already inbuilt, or some people call it as built-in. Both are same. Yes, built-in or inbuilt. Now, how can you segregate or how can you identify it is an inbuilt function or user defined or custom defined function? Simple. A user defined or custom defined function will always start with def keyword. The syntax that we have discussed is for user defined or custom defined function only. So def function name parameters in the parenthesis, then colon, then block of code or lines of code. Okay, so here we have an example for uh, a custom defined or user defined function which is used to return sum of two numbers. See, I'm defining it and the syntax, I'll just follow the syntax. Def add is the function name, A and B are the parameters, and I'm the code of line of block saying that return A plus B. See, and you know here defining is done and I'm trying to call the function and I'm passing the values for A and B. A takes 5, B takes 10. The output will be 10, 5 plus 10, it will be 15. Yes, right. So we'll stop the day here and we'll continue with the rest of the topics like types of arguments, then inbuilt functions, okay, as well as lambda functions tomorrow. Once after completing these three topics, we'll jump into NumPy and Pandas, the next topic. Okay, so if you have any kind of questions, it might be technical. Okay, I'm here to address them. Right, any questions? Yep, if no questions, thank you so much, guys, for joining. And you guys have really made the session interactive. Many of you are, interacting well, responding for each and every question that I'm just asking in the session. And it's better if you just share across your groups or across the different channels that you have. And we'll be sharing these files in a short, okay? So probably in a week or say within less than a span of 1 week, we'll be sharing everything. So only thing is I need hands on to be done parallelly. Okay, on whatever the topic that we are discussing on a day, just complete the hands-on, then you'll rock. Okay, so assuming no questions, thank you so much once again. Have a great day, guys. Bye.